There's still a lot of speculation about whether indeed this was an occult crime or not. What's your gut feel?
Well, when we look at the evidence that is given to us in the public as far as the media is concerned, it seems like it's pointing in that direction. It depends upon obviously who was at the crime scene to investigate the matter, whether it is somebody that has got some expertise in occult killings that can give us more hard evidence of what is going on. But then it is going to depend upon the testimonies of the two young perpetrators or alleged perpetrators.
It appears at this point that the SAPS's occult crime unit is looking at this case. In terms of their track record and what you've heard about that, are they adept enough at looking at this kind of crime?
Well, I used to work with the occult unit in the 80s when we had a real, almost like a tidal wave of satanic killings in South Africa. And the guys that I worked with at the time were very well seasoned detectives to begin with, and they also knew what to look for. So, you know, I believe that that type of training and expertise has been passed on to the next generation of detectives. So, I'm pretty confident that these guys know what they are doing. I would just like to add that I think that they should also do comprehensive drug tests on both the guys to find out if there was the use of drugs, as is normally the case in ritual slayings like this.
Well, skeptics seem to think that that pointing to Satanism is merely an excuse to sensationalize murders, which are murders like any other that occur in our society, driven by things like drug or alcohol abuse, poverty, domestic violence, and the like. Do you think that Satanism is being used in this country as an excuse for what really are social problems that a lot of people across various strata are experiencing?
Well, the fact of the matter is mankind is known for, practicing the blaming game the moment they are in trouble. We've read about that from the early days in the Bible. But the fact of the matter is no person can exonerate themselves from taking another person's life, whether it is for religious purposes or ritualistic reasons, or whether it is for the purpose of having used drugs. We just cannot excuse ourselves. They fully well know that when they use drugs and they open themselves up to occult powers and practices, that is the route that eventually they're going to follow. So they shouldn't go down that route in the first place. I don't believe that we can use Satanism as an excuse for killing each other.
The Pagan Rights Alliance believes that Satanism is being incorrectly linked to violent crime, that it's just feeding into a stereotype that exists around what are fears about a minority religion in the country. What's your feeling about that?
Well, we must understand that there are different stratas of experience and also even denominations within the satanic movement itself. We must also realize that there are people who worship Satan that would have nothing to do with violent crime in any way whatsoever. They have a completely different reason for worshiping Satan, and there are different and various interpretations of what it means to be a Satanist. So even amongst themselves, there's a tremendous amount of discrepancy as far as who is a Satanist and who is not a Satanist. So to just put every single ritual killing under the label of Satanism itself is not quite correct. One should look at each case individually and then also look at the testimony of the people that have conducted these crimes. And that is sometimes going to require a very, very thorough investigation.
You deserve to know more.
eNCA.com